Now here's a story of a man caged by cardboard, daydreaming of damage counters and longing for a life full of leisurely land drops. Well, one day, that quiet, calm, and small Indiana boy became the chaos of the card game community when that man decided to turn his favorite movies into commander decks. And for a guy as lazy and as uninspired as him, this was actually a pretty good idea, which scared him. Let's see how this goes. Turning my favorite movies into commander decks? Why would I do that?
Are you employed, sir?
Employed?
Damn, okay, haven't even started yet. Seemed like a pretty decent idea. Seemed like people would click it. You clicked it. And I don't even want to get started on talking about how hard it was for me to not put Anchorman and a Goofy movie and Tenacious D on here. I'm only watching the top drawer movies, apparently. Here we are with my 3 favorite movies, those being The Big Labowski, The Thing, and The Shining. Yes, I realize they all have "the" in the title. That was not intentional. Maybe that's just subliminally one of the things I like about movies. I don't know. Before we get into the decks, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. And with that, let's get into it. The Big Labowski. Now you might be asking, how the hell are you going to make a deck about the Big Labowski? Well, if I'm being honest, these were smushed between my bed completely flat, and then I reformed them and put them on my head. Also, if I'm being honest, the Big Labowski deck's more about the main character, the dude, more so than it is the movie. There are some aspects of the movie in the deck. The Big Labowski. This movie's a weird one, and that's honestly really why I love it. You got a 40-year-old stoner man named the Dude who smokes bowls smoke shows, and boldly stands up against identity fraud. What's not to like? So the Dude.
I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or...
Oh, my bad. So the Dudeness comes home one night to find 2 men, one a total redneck.
It's not the preferred nomenclature.
My bad. He comes home to find 2 men are at his house waiting for him. When he walks in, they jump him, talking about money that they're owed, while one of the polite gentlemen pisses all over my guy's rug. Come to find out, obviously, these weren't the best guys, and our main character, the Dude's real name is Jeff Labowski, which is the same name as a wealthy aristocrat around town. So when this bong-blitzed bozo and this fraudulent foolhardy fat cat butt heads, you can guarantee some shenanigans go down. Oh, yes, you can. This movie's one of the best ones ever. From having some of the funniest one-liners in the world,
Shabbos!
to having, like, the best performance from John Goodman and Steve Buscemi in a comedy role I've ever seen.
I am the walrus.
Shut the f up, Donnie.
There's also a special place in this movie for watching it way too young when I was like 10.
Blow on them.
Huh?
Plus American Pie, I think Tara Reid is like ingrained into my brain now. This movie's so friggin' fun, man. As weird as it sounds, like absolutely nothing happens and like everything happens at once. It's like a stoner version of Forrest Gump. Not a bad analogy if you've seen it. The issue here is finding the perfect commander and deck to base around our main character. So maybe I just won't.
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Okay, I'll make the deck for it. Calm down. First thing we learn about the Dude, he's a stoner slacker who doesn't do much, and yet still gets caught up in some big business due to miscommunications. So I think his character traits of 1, being lazy, 2, smoking constantly, and 3, being surprisingly important for how little importance he actually has, lends itself to the green color identity to represent his stoic nature and tendency to smoke, along with blue and white to represent some of the political unrest he seems to get himself involved in. So having the colors figured out, we need a commander that can represent our main character. We need a character whose art and play style presents them as laid back and lazy while also being political in the color pairing. And I gotta say, man, Angus Mackenzie is perfect. I mean, first off, look at these two compared to each other. They look real similar. He also controls who does damage when. Very pacifist, very stoner, very peaceful, but can include politics very easily. Great, so we've got our commander, Angus Mackenzie, Fog Tribal, and with the Dude smoking constantly, I think it I think the deck being Fog Tribal is hilarious, and I'm really just knocking it out of the park with this one. There are full deck lists for all 3 of these decks down in the description, so if you want to check them out, go for it. So of course, this deck includes fog effects like Fog or Constant Mist to prevent any combat damage straight up, that moment when you chief so hard your enemies can't even see you, or cards like Propaganda or Ghostly Prison to make attacking us specifically more difficult for opponents. But from time to time, the opponent will still successfully piss on our metaphorical rug. Or our literal rug, because we've got a rug of smothering in here because I had to do it. And when they do, we need to sick our boys on them. We need a pair of perfect cards to represent the dude's 2 boys, the post-Vietnam, supposedly, easy enraged, possibly bipolar Walter, and quiet, faithful, albeit at times confused, Donnie, who are always down to back up the dude. I feel like Garruk makes a really good Walter, being a brute, prone to anger issues, especially around certain, goth women. My pick for the specific Garruk being Garruk Primal Hunter, supplying us with 3/3 bodies as well as a game-ending ult, which will be great when we're sitting behind all these fog effects. While Donnie is constantly being berated by Walter, because, honestly, he doesn't hear a goddamn thing that guy says, which makes Deafening Silence a super funny card in this list. If you know, you know. I also threw in Kulfanor's Urn. Past just ulting with Garruk and controlling combat, we've also got another way to win. With all the dream and drug sequences in the movie, as well as sleep transitions into the morning, Approach of the Second Sun seems like a great way to send off this deck. He's just trying to get to the next day, man. And with that, we'll move on to my next favorite movie, The Thing. So John Carpenter's The Thing, if you haven't watched this movie, what are you doing? Pause this video, I'm being serious, and go watch it. It is a fantastic movie. It's got some of the best, it's got the best practical effects I've ever seen in a movie, for how old it is especially. Plus one of the best endings ever put to screen. Genuinely, people still talk about this ending, and it's 43 years after the movie's been made. A research team in Antarctica end up stranded on a research base, surrounded by the harsh conditions of the Antarctic weather. While stranded at the base, a creature we know as the Thing begins systematically killing and mimicking the people and animals around the base, using this ability to kill more and more survivors. The whole movie you're asking whether or not any given thing on screen is the Thing. To this day, 43 years later, as I said, people are still making theories about this movie, and it holds up as one of the best not only horror movies, but overall movies I've ever seen. My favorite thing about this movie is for how scary the subject is. I find the movie weirdly calming and cozy. It's the ultimate bottle movie. Everyone's stuck in this base, but damn is it fun. Now some of you might be going, oh, the main character in this one's Kurt Russell, Nick. McCready. If we didn't have the Thing wouldn't be a movie. So, The Thing is the main character. Sorry, get out of here. Bye. So let's talk about The Thing. Seeing as The Thing is a freak of nature bent on controlling, mimicking, and eventually eviscerating any living thing it sees, Sultai seems like a great color combo for The Thing. And I'm going to be honest, we all know where I'm going with this. The mimeoplasm is obviously the commander here. A giant ooze that takes things that have died and becomes them to kill more things to become them. Perfect. So with the mimeoplasm as the commander, I want to mainly be copying opponents' creatures that are engraved, so cards that can mill opponents consistently like Ruin Crab or Court of Cunning are going to be great to give us options, allowing us to cherry pick the best creatures out of their graves and create our own version of the Thing. Now in the movie, the Thing is efficient at getting a kill if it wants, so making our commander evasive and deadly definitely fit the bill. So some unblockable effects like Whisper Soak Cloak or Aquarius form will be really good, or you could just give it Infect with Phyresis and really send them home. Another point of interest for the Thing is the fact it switches forms constantly. At one point in this movie, you end up asking if any given thing on screen is the Thing. So blink effects in this deck, like Conjurer's Closet or Deadeye Navigator, make it so the Thing can constantly be changing forms, just like in the movie. Seeing as our movie takes place in Antarctica, the deck runs Snowlands, along with Draugr Necromancer and a Yorn God of Winter to get some icy plays going. Also in the movie, the Thing can mimic any aspect of a living thing, including their actions, so running stuff like Insidious Will and Twincast can make us copy the actions of other players, which seems very thingy to me. Also, of course, we run the Thing in the ice. I don't think that one needs explaining. It's literally the Thing with plenty of counterspells and protection to show how slippery the thing really is in the movie. You've got a really cool, powerful list based around one of the best movies of all time. Again, go check it out. But with that, let's move on to the final movie of the day, The Shining. The Shining. This is a lot of people's favorite movie, and I don't blame them. I probably would consider this mine as well. This is a movie I could watch ad nauseum. I could keep watching it forever and never get bored of it. I've seen this movie probably over 30, 40 times, and every time I watch it, I go, oh, whoa, you know what I mean. If you know, you know. This movie is filled to the brim with Easter eggs, full of what you would think was missed shots on the director's part that are actually intentional to mess with you watching it. It's so good. It is like one of the best like psychological horror movies I've ever seen. This mental maze of a hotel causes its newest caretaker, Jack Torrance, a writer who thinks the job will be a good way to finish his book, to slowly lose his grasp on reality, beginning to see truth as fiction, along with ghosts from the past of the hotel lurking in every room. This movie is an absolute detail fest where everything matters. This movie's got some of the scariest and most quotable scenes in the world. If you've never seen this movie, you've probably quoted it. Here's Johnny, Red Rum, Come Play With Us, Danny. A lot of classics here. Along with some of the creepiest atmosphere I've yet to see from another horror movie. The Thing is close, but The Shining is just like mint. The mental lunacy of the main character, along with the ghosts and ghouls from the past, lends this deck to being black for sure. While the hotel aspect seems like it's too good to not utilize the new room mechanic from Duskmorn, so inevitably, this landed me on Victor Valkvoth's Sensual, which is genuinely perfect because I looked up what Sensual means, and it's a steward. And if you don't know what a steward is, it can be defined as a person whose job it is, hold on to your seat, to look over a grand estate for somebody else. Boom! Damn, I'm good. This dude just also makes a ton of sense as Jack Torrance, as every time he goes into a room, he loses more and more of his sanity, which is perfectly paralleled in Victor when he surveils 2 whenever you unlock a room. Losing some of our deck, losing some of our sanity. Perfect. Jack also sees literal zombies and ghosts from the past in these rooms, making Victor's reanimation aspect perfect to represent these paranormal echoes throughout the hotel. You can also reanimate from anyone's graveyard. Not really a movie thing, just good. So first things first, Bloodforged Battle Axe, it's going into here. If you know, you know. Not going to spoil anything. It's going into the deck. Keep in mind, the whole point of the movie and the deck is that they are in a hotel filled with paranormal activity and they can't get out. So room cards are a must. Now, shockingly, there's actually 11 room cards we can run, which is more than I thought. So that's a great start. Cramped Vents and Access Maze lets us remove creatures, as well as cast spells using our life instead of mana cost once a turn, which pairs great if we're planning on running some big creatures to cheat out with Victor. While Dazzling Theater and Prop Room allows us to convoke creatures into play, again, great with big creatures in our deck, as well as untap our creatures during other players' untap steps. On top of this, we need some ways to fill our graveyard, so we can actually have some ghouls from the past to reanimate. So cards like Stitcher Supplier and Ripples of Undeath are going to be great at giving us some top-notch Fallacy Bears. If you know, you know. Speaking of which, we need some actual big threats to reanimate, and I'm just going to get it out of the way. Valgavoth, the literal haunted hotel himself, just a giant demon moth that got put into a big haunted house cage and then ate the haunted house cage and became it. I think that's pretty on par. And whatever other big creatures tickle your pickle, do whatever. We've also got to run some of the on-the-nose cards that came out on Duskmorn. Unsettling Twins, that's just a direct reference to The Shining, so it's got to be on the list. As does Break Down the Door, another direct reference to The Shining, but we sadly can't run it because it's in green, but it's really cool. Hostile Hostel has to go in here. It's literally just an evil hotel land, and even funnier and better, in French, this card is called Hotel Hostel, which sounds like a Gordon Ramsay show, which is hilarious to me. I love that. So, while staying on theme, Aetherio's God of Passage is an enchantment on a creature that can return creatures to your hand when they hit grave, adding to the whole ghosts from the past thing. While Sheltered by Ghost could be a reference to Danny, Jack's son, being in tune with all the spirits around the hotel using his shining. That one might be a stretch, but I think it works. And with all this, you've got a really, really interesting, cool, frankly, looks pretty strong deck based around The Shining. Again, if you would like to see the 3 decks we've built today based around the Big Labowski, The Thing, and The Shining, all 3 of the full deck links can be found down below in the description. I hope you can tell I put a lot of work into this one, a lot of research, a lot of hard research rewatching my 3 favorite movies. Oh. But this is one of the first videos in a while that I've really had a lot of fun making. So I hope it does well. If you made it this far, please give this video a share, a like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Drop a comment. If you would like to join the Discord, that is down in the description. We have a ton of people. I think we've got like 200 plus people chilling over there, just talking constantly about Magic. So if you want to go join that, it's free. Go check it out. If you'd like to show a little bit of additional support to the channel, please consider using the TCG Player affiliate link for ordering any cards you've seen in this video. And also consider joining the Patreon. It starts as low as $1, and it really, really does help me out a ton. Every dollar, seriously, gets me one step closer to getting my life on track. Again, I really, really do hope you enjoyed this video, and I really, really do hope you watch any of these 3 movies that you haven't seen. I also highly recommend Anchorman, The Goofy Movie, and Tenacious D. They might sound silly. They're really, really good movies. With that, I'm going to stop yapping your ear off. I'll see you guys next time.